Hello everybody and welcome to another Draft League format video with Coach Oak. So this is a new league that I'm in. We just finished our draft and I've been asked / volunteered to be one of the people doing power rankings, and people wanted to see them in video format so they could get explanations on reasoning. So this is the post-draft power rankings for this league. I know this will be mostly seen by the people in the league. And they know it's super crude because they have already just seen the list and they're waiting for an explanation. So I did very quickly. There's very little graphics or pictures or anything like that, even for my channel, which is always kind of a little bit crude. But yeah, so this is just post-draft rankings. I've got the teams and names. We'll go through based on kind of first blush impression on how the team works well together and how the team could work in the draft league format in terms of flexibility and how effective it will be at being able to work well together, as well as just having those mons that force other teams to prep for them in a certain way. Think of like Celesteal, where you need in VGC where you have to have a counter ready just in case it comes. So things like that. So let's get started. There's 11 teams in this league. You draft one S tier, 2 A tiers, 3 B tiers, and 4 C tiers. The tiers are very similar, with just minor tweaks from the multi-battle league MBL that's going on right now. So team 11 in the rankings, out of 11, there's 11 teams. Every team will have a bye week. Is Team Real Beauties. I've got this team ranked at 11th, mostly because I don't know how to use this team. I see kind of what they're going for, and I see what the draft plan was, but at the same time I feel like it's missing a few key elements, or it just kind of doesn't fit well together. Like you see ThunDT, like you've got ThunDT, Mega Sceptile, Pachirisu, all kind of looking to do electric type stuff. You've got Diggersby sitting there, but there's no, like, Sharpedo's the only water type to really deflect away from, and that's your last C tier pick. Like, there's no Mega Gyarados for Pachirisu to follow me, Volt Absorb. There's no for Lightning Rod. Like, I understand the discharge into Mega Sceptile, and that's scary, and Jirachi is always a threat, of course, and like, but you've got so much electric you can plan for. Like, Thousand Arrows is going to just rip through this team ridiculously. And, I mean, Sharpedo being really frail, like the Firewater Grass is fairly frail. 4 times weakness for Mega Sceptile to common Draft League type, Typhlosion and Sharpedo both being kind of hit or miss. There's not a whole lot of walls here. Jirachi, I guess, kind of. Gardevoir, like, I don't see how it fits for myself if I was going to try to use this team, but that doesn't mean it can't work, because there is some scary things here, and I see what they were kind of going for. It doesn't really work for me that well. I feel like if this was paired with, say it had Gyarados over Sharpedo, kind of something that's a little bulkier is set up, deflect away with the Follow Me, or I don't even know. It feels a little disjointed, and I don't know what I would do with this team in terms of matchup based, and kind of a lot of the mons that you kind of know what they're gonna do more or less. Like, there's not a whole lot of flexibility outside of Jirachi, in my mind. Maybe Gardevoir. Yeah, it's missing a little something for me. So I've got it ranked at number 11. Number 10 is, I forgot to put in numbers. Anyways, number 10 is PR Echo. This team, again, I like some of the pieces, but I feel like it's kind of missing a little something. Genesect, I love Genesect. It does need some speed control help. You do have Whimsicott for that, so that is good. Whimsicott can also help out Gyarados with that speed control. Hitmontop's an amazing doubles mon. You gotta love that. Gothitelle doing some trapping. could do some very good things. Mega Sableye is a pain in the butt. Less so if you can double into it though, which is what they're going to find happening a lot. Zygarde 10%, it's so hard in doubles just with Fake Out running around and it being so frail, 4 times weak to common types. It's just not a dragon type I want to hang my hat on. And Whimsicott, while it's good, it's not something I want as my kind of defensive fairy type thing. 4 times weakness. Most teams are trying to pack poison types now. Genesect, of course, I like as the top. It's not the top few in the S tier, but it's definitely a good steel type in that regard. It can, obviously, any steel type can eat the poison type moves coming at Whimsicott. But I feel like that's kind of limiting because you want those two beside each other, but also on this behind each other type thing. You've got Magmar, can do some follow me stuff, which will help out. You got the Fake Out with him on top, but it's just like Magmar in your offensive core. Like Whimsicott to me is support. It's not really the one you want in that core either way. Like it's gonna have to both act defensively and offensively in terms of type synergy a lot of weeks, which is something it's gonna struggle to do both when it mostly wants to and set up Tailwinds and Leech Seed and all that in doubles. It doesn't really want to be trying to fire off Moonblast and Giga Drain while eating hits from the other type that move that dragons have, like Ground or something, for Zygarde 50. I feel like they're going to be leaning on some mons to play a role that they don't really want to play. And their C tiers just feels kind of like cheap offense, and then Magmar is kind of forced into an offensive role on this team, I think, because Fire is such an important offensive type, and Magmar really doesn't want to go offensive. And I'm not big on like the Magmar, Electabuzz, Electivire, and Magmortar lines. I know it's Follow Me into Static Flame Body, but they're not the bulkiest things. Even if you put the Eviolite on Magmar or Electabuzz, a good double into them, they're gone. You better hope you get the double Flame Body type thing. If you're facing physical attackers, and if you're facing special attackers, well, that doesn't even help you that much either. So it just feels like they're going to be leaning a little too much on Whimsicott, and there's mons that are going to get in trouble very easily with common threats on this team. Number 9, I have Team 505. I do like this team. At first glance, I kind of went, what is this? And then once I got looking at it, I do like this team. There's no team that I'm like, oh, their draft's awful. What is this? What were they thinking? No, I see what they're going for. They got the Sand. It's kind of cool. They don't have like the Excadrill, T-Tar kind of normal combos, but I love Nihilego in the Sand. It's just an absolute def wall. You have to bring physical. But then you got Kartana, which those two work so together because Kartana can go in the Sand as well. But then it's so weak on the special side. So you've got so weak on the special side, so weak on the defensive side. They're going to have to balance with each other really well. But again, they kind of want to be beside each other for that offensive presence, which makes it a little bit difficult. Nidoking in this draft, I feel like you could have got away with that not being a ground type, because there's a whole lot of ground types on here. Like, you've got very common weaknesses. Grass is going to cause problems for this team. Water to a good extent as well. Yeah, like you've got Alolan Dugtrio, Sandforce. That's kind of cool. I'd like to see that do some work, even though it's got a terrible design. But it would be cool to see that do some work. The lesser loved of them. I see what they're doing there. I like Bruxish. I think it can do some support things with, as well as go offensive if need be. But obviously Mega Gyarados is going to be your offensive water type more often than not. Seismitoad felt a little unnecessary. You've got 2 other waters. You've got 2 other ground types. You're hitting on kind of all the same stuff. Ditto I don't know if that's really a team for Ditto. I feel like you could have gone other ways to fill out type balance a little better, so you aren't really forced into certain things. Incineroar, I was so happy Incineroar got drafted. It wasn't in my team's draft plan, but I know it can do some things because it's something I've used in VGC a lot. But without Intimidate, it's not. I feel like B tier is a little bit high for it, as much as that pains me to say. As it is my favorite Pokemon. Its AV set is great, but it can do some Scarf thing. Like, it can do some things, but it really wishes it had that Intimidate. If it did, awesome. B tier, probably A tier. Yeah. One other thing you'll note in this draft, they did not take an S tier. They took 3 A tiers. I like the A tiers they took. I think Kartana and Nihilego balance each other well, but that is what it is. And Mega Gyarados is, of course, a really good threat. I would love to see Lone Marowak or Togedemaru, something to have that Lightning Rod to pull away from Mega Gyarados, especially on switch-ins. But they do have lots of ground types to switch in if it feels threatened. So that's good, but if they get set up and then get threatened by Scarf Kartana or Scarf, wow, that wasn't English. That was not what I meant to say. By like a really fast Coco or Scarf, like Raikou level speed, like something that's still gonna have speed even if it's set up Mega Gyarados, it's gonna have to switch out and lose all those boosts, which is not something you really want to be doing. In my mind. And yeah, so there's my thoughts on Team 505. Team Hacks I've got at number 8. I really wish I had put the numbers on, but oh well. So Team Hacks, I feel like they're leaning on Mons with this that I really don't like leaning on, and the bottom of the draft to me just doesn't work. Mega Manectric, underrated in my mind. Aegislash, always good. Latios, really good. Setting up Tailwind's going to help out there as well. Togekiss always is a really good doubles mon. I feel like they're leaning on Entei and Virizion. Not big on Virizion in doubles. Like, there's flying types everywhere. Braviary and Staraptor and the Torns, and like, it's so hard to keep and it kind of needs setup to be really offensive, and it's not a very good defensive typing. I don't like it as a B tier grass type. I think there's better options there. Entei, I'm not a huge fan of. I like it better in singles too. Sacred Fire Burns, help it out. I know it can do some things, and I hopefully they'll prove me wrong with Entei. Empoleon, again, it doesn't feel like the best mon. Like, yeah, you can defog. Somebody brings some hazards. You can put up rocks of your own, but it's doubles. Rocks isn't that great. And then to double down on the steel, the bulky steel with Registeel, felt a little unnecessary. I felt like there was more things you could have done to help this draft. Like Registeel just felt really unnecessary to me, and I'm not a big fan of the Regis either. Weezing, I know they got upset. They got sniped twice. Once by my team. Sorry. Weezing, I think, was a good third pick as a poison type. It can do really good support, and then if you need it to, you've got that poison typing that you really want, which is always good with so many fairies around. Everybody looking to pick up fairies. Gallade, hopefully it can do some things. I'm not sure what it will do. It's not the scariest threat to me in doubles, so hopefully they do something. There's good pieces in this draft, but I feel like they could use a couple transactions as well to really fill this out. At number 7, I have Team No Mercies. This is the rain spam that, of course, every team's going to have. But again, I feel like they doubled down on some stuff they didn't need to. Like the Galvantula and the Jolteon immediately, I'm like, why do you need both? Pick one. Like, they're both fast electric, I get that, but fast electric types are good. I love Galvantula with sticky webs. I think that works well, but I don't know if you needed it with this team if you're going Jolteon next. Like, you've got a lot of speed in terms of Tailwind with Mandibuzz. and you've got some slow mons, but you've got the rain to really boost your speed with Mega Swampert. Tornai is Prankster anyways. Like you've got, I feel like you've got Tailwind with Pelipper too. Like you've got 3 Tailwind options there. You didn't need webs, especially when you've already got you've got the rain for Mega Swampert to get fast. Like some of these other mons, it's still not helping them. Yeah, Lando T really wants Tailwind, yeah, for sure. Jolteon doesn't really need it most of the time. Umbreon's not really trying to go fast ever. Pyroar. Yeah, I mean, Pyroar's mon. That's normal spam's good. It's being the fire type on a rain team's always tough. They don't necessarily have to bring rain every week, but they might have to with this team. Pelipper seems so important, even without Mega Swampert, but Pelipper just seems so important. Volt Beam's going to do a absolute ton to this team. Yeah. Hitting a lot of pawns twice, but yeah, Bolt Beam's going to do a lot. But I do like some facts, like you've got 3-4 times weaknesses in your first 3 picks. I like that fact. I know that sounds weird, because it's what are they going to, like, which hidden power do you run, who's got what, which if the team can play it well, that can be good for you. If they don't, it can be an issue if you're not expecting, if you're expecting hidden power electric and suddenly you get hit by HP ice, there goes your Lando. But yeah, so I just feel like they're leaning a little too much on one single strat, and that's never something you want to do in Draft League, because people can prep around that. Number 7, Team Speeds. Beds? I'm not really sure. Yeah, so you got Lando Y, massive threat. That is Sheer Force Lando Y. Mega Medicham, massive threat. Good little support too. Got a Alolan Ninetales. Immediately everyone goes, oh no, there's Aurora Veil. That's scary. You got Goodra. Never been huge on Goodra in doubles, but it can do some things. Draft League format, you can choose what it's going to hit very, very well. I like that about Goodra. With Metagross, it works well. That's a good little core. Again, same problem with Winsmicon and Alolan Ninetales, but you get Aurora Veil up, it becomes a much bulkier fairy type right away. Raikou, not a huge fan, but if used well, it can do some good things. I just like the top tier threats. You got Togetic to deflect away. Beartic, just you have to prep for, just have in the back of your mind that Slush Rush is coming. Watch your speeds on Slush Rush. Beartic is fairly slow, so even with Slush Rush, it's not outspeeding everything. You want it to, but if the other team isn't careful about that, it suddenly could be. Toxapex, ooh. Credilli, ooh. Togetic, ooh. So they've got some good walls, and they've got some top flight threats with cheap walls. So I do like that. Yeah, we're getting to the part where it's harder to say negative things. I just feel like some of these mons I'm just not that big a fan of, because I feel like you can either attack around it or just quickly, or it just doesn't do the things you want it to. Like Raikou, I've never really seen Raikou used as well as people seem to hold it. Like as a B tier, I don't sign me up for that. But I think they've got good core that if they use it well, this could be a really good team. It's just not one that I love, and I think that's why, while it could be higher, it's not higher on my list. I believe we're on 6 now, or 5, I'm not sure. You guys, my league, have the list with numbers in Discord, so check that out. We got Vescura Calente. I think it means hot garbage, but I'm not sure. I can't remember. It's Spanish for something. Somebody told me. I don't remember. Wasn't paying attention. Yeah, this draft's an interesting one. You got Lele, massive threat. Absolutely massive. Second overall pick, I think it was. Second or third. I can't remember. Second. Yeah, second. Amoonguss. Yeah, Amoonguss does Amoonguss things. It's a pain in the butt. Everyone get your safety goggles out. Yeah. Deoxys absolutely is going to pick up a kill. In the 6-on-6 format, picking up a kill might not be enough. Fake Out is its nemesis. So everyone bring your fake out mons. Crook, I love Crook. Good B tier pick, really solid. With Magnezone, okay, I like it. Magnezone might need to run Magnet Rise or Balloons sometimes, but for that kind of synergy to work well, there's not a whole lot that wants to stand beside Crook besides Drifblim. Which works well. You've got Drifblim Lele. VGC, scary. Again, not a huge fan of Magmortar. I'm not. Lapras is okay. I don't like it as a B tier, but it's I see the point of it. Really passive Fire Water Grass core. I think that's the thing holding it back. Like, Fire Water Grass to me should be your more defensive core, and your Fairy Dragon Steel should be your more offensive. Or, sorry, more defensive. Fire Water Grass being more offensive, based on the typings. Don't really have that here. In fact, now that I'm looking, you don't even have a dragon, which is fine. I'm not as big on cores, especially in doubles draft format, but yeah, like you've got, it's just really passive with those three good offensive typings. Like Amoonguss isn't that offensive, Lapras is not that offensive, Magmortar's not that offensive. Yes, they can go that way, and I want to see them done that way, but and Solrock and Throw, I'm selling. But there's absolute, like, Lele, Drifblim, Lele Deoxys, Crook with Amoonguss, like, Magnezone. Like, there's some scary stuff here. Magmortar Deoxys, which is why it's up this high. If they can get that little bit of synergy out of the bottom, and yeah, it can do some good things. But I think you could also, you can set up some walls on this thing. Alright, now on to Team Fire Rising. I believe this is 4 we're on? 4, I think. This is actually my team, so I'm not going to say as much about it. Kyurem White, Tapu Bulu, Blaziken, Raichu, Staraptor, Excadrill, Blastoise, Comfey, Dragalge, Masquerain. I'm going to say some bad things first. Excadrill with no sand is kind of a little bit sad. I guess this can self-set, but you feel like doubles, you want Excadrill with sand. Defending it, it's good steel type. You want a good steel type when you're facing down. When you have Tapu Bulu, you got to deal with poison types. Excadrill does that both offensively and defensively, and it does get drill run, so it doesn't necessarily have to deal with the grassy terrain. This team feels very kind of built around Bulu, more than Kyurem White, Kyurem White is obviously the first pick, and is a terrifying threat, and so is Blaziken. But Bulu is going to protect Blaziken, Raichu. It's going to protect Excadrill in a sense with grassy terrain. Comfey and grassy terrain, 75% self-healing to teammates. Awesome. Dragalge is a good secondary dragon, especially if you want to run Trick Room or if somebody could bring Trick Room on you. Masquerain can do some things. It's underrated in doubles, especially Draft League. I think you can bring it and do some things that teams aren't, if they're not prepared for, they're going to be scared. Staraptor was really the only mon we had to go to the backup for, but I think it's a strong backup. Tailwind support, help out Kyurem White, even Bulu and things like that. Excadrill could like that as well. Intimidate, always good, or you can just reckless nuke that thing, turn that thing into something dying. With bird spam and normal spam, which are two of the best spams, so that's always good. And it's got close combat to help out with those pesky steel types. Raichu is going to do a lot in terms of flexibility and support, which is important. Blastoise as well can do some really good things. Blastoise really enjoys having Comfey to give it some healing as well. Now we're on to team number 3, I believe. Team Bidoof. This team's scary. This team's really, really scary. Coco Garchomp, great synergy. Especially with, you can stick a Z-move anywhere. Tectonic Rage Garchomp, that's always a threat. Victini, add to that, that's another threat. That's something you gotta be prepared for. Mega Sharpedo. This is not a mandatory first turn Mega. You can get that speed boost, then Mega up to be the Strong Jaw. Ouch. That works really well with things like Togedemaru to deflect. And it's protecting it as well. It's also protecting Braviary, which is going to punish or intimidate teams with Intimidates. You did get kind of the cheap Intimidate just to have it at the end with Arbok. I'm not a big Arbok. My team talked about it, but it was kind of a 4th or 5th best cheap Intimidate. I'm sorry that Discord keeps going off. That's probably the people in this league. I'll have to go deal with that later. But yeah, Frostlass. I do like Frostlass. It can do some interesting things, and I look forward to seeing what they do with it. This team's really scary. The one thing that I'm kind of looking at going, I don't know so much about, is I feel like Garchomp might be forced to hold the Groundium Z a little too often, and you don't have as much flexibility, because you don't want Earthquake with Victini around, you don't want Earthquake with Koko around, you don't want an Earthquake with Togedemaru around, or Arbok. Like, there's a lot there, and there's only Braviary for Flying type. You do have Parasect Wide Guard as well, but that's going to just protect itself, and it's not too worried about that. Parasect, going that late, it can do some annoying things. Like, I feel like they did a really good job of pairing expensive offense with cheap support. Like, you got Ambibomb with Fake Out Fling late, you've got Frostlass, Z Destiny Bond, it can do spikes, it can do some silly stuff, as well as being fast and hit things that are 4 times weak to ice, which there's lots of, really hard. Arbok with the Intimidate, Parasect with all its shenanigans, Togedemaru even, but then you've got those really top tier threats at the top. Parasect being a little more passive is hurting because, again, Fire, Water, Grass, I like that a little more offensive. Koko's not the bulkiest fairy either, but it's alright. And Togedemaru, I wish it had got Iron Head or something like that. It doesn't. But yeah, Togeki's good, but it's not the best in terms of your Steel type. I would have liked to have seen maybe a second Steel type here, but I do really like this team, as you can tell by its high ranking. Number 2, we have Team Sax. They had the first overall pick. They better have made use of it. And they did. This team's the one I don't really know how to use fully, but it scares me. So, Finny, first overall pick, Draft League format, it can be just scary. I mean, it's used a lot in VGC, which is a good sign for jumping over here, but it has so many other options in its move pool, like things like Taunt and Heal Pulse and all the Self Swagger and all that you can really build in Draft League format around and not need that you've got that flexibility for. It was first overall pick. That makes sense. Arcanine, that's the most used thing in VGC because it's good. Yeah, there's not much else to say. You can go multiple ways with it depending on your matchup. That's awesome. Buzzwole, I'm not huge on Buzzwole. It's bulkier than people think, but again, that 4 times weak to flying, it hurts it a little bit. Tangrowth, Torn T, Regen Core in doubles. Okay, I like it. Let's see what you can do with that. I like Torn T. I think it works really well as their top end speed and speed control as well. Lucario, really good Steel type to pick up this late, and get some double fighting, which can be both weakness and strength. They do have a bit of a flying weakness, but they cover it up fairly well. Hoopa, great C tier. Kira, great C tier. You got a lot of high stats there. Yes, they've got weaknesses, but nothing. Gliscor is just annoying. And then you got Kecleon, which is just a pain in the butt. A lot of 50-50s playing it. But I just think that, like, that Fire, Water, Grass, like, Tangrowth is more offensive than people think, but it doesn't pull the shenanigans that a lot of these other grass types are. But it's not that passive grass type. It's bulky, it can heal itself, you can run AV awesomely to keep general bulk. But Finny, Arcanine, Tangrowth works well. Self-Swagger, Buzzwole, spam superpowers. I like that idea. Like, Finny can help out Buzzwole a lot. Torn T can help out Arcanine and Finny, and with Tailwind it can help out Hoopa and Kyurem to be awesome threats. Gliscor is going to be a pain to bring down. Lucario is going to pull Lucario shenanigans as well, be offensive. Like, this team has so much flexibility in their mons and really top threat mons in VGC, and you got some late cheap legendaries that, like, you can't sleep on them, right? Like, yeah, Hoopa has obvious weakness, but you can't sleep on it. It's got great coverage, it's got great stats, all that stuff. And Frozen Helix is our #1 team. Celesteela, Clefable, Zygarde, 50%. Ooh. I don't want to deal with that. Then you followed up with Scrafty and Alolan Raichu. Oh no, I don't want to deal with that either. Crobat for your poison type and speed and flying spam, all really good. And then you got like mons that are going to help support around that Shiftry. Not big fan of the Armaldo pick. That's kind of my one I knock. Nidoqueen, C tier, great. Not really. I'm thinking about it. Nidoking was B tier. Why were those different tiers? I didn't even notice that. Good pick. Aggron, great pick late. Second, really bulky steel type. I don't like doubling down types too much, but really late, that's going to help. And Celesteela isn't, has only hit neutral by fighting, so it helps out Aggron as well, because you're going to need to bring more electric and fire. And you've got switch-ins for that stuff as well. The one thing I would like to see, they do have Tailwind Crobat, of course, and things like that. I would have liked to see something that could pass into Zygarde. Something like Eevee instead of Armaldo, and I'm just locking that forfeit. Like Extreme Move Boost into Zygarde to get that speed up as well as its bulk, and that's just no. I don't want to deal with that. Breaking down Celesteela, you have to prep for that. You have to be ready for Clefable and all of its options. You pretty well have to bring Ice for Zygarde. If you don't bring Fighting, well, Aggron's gonna block you. Nidoqueen can set up T-Spikes and rocks and just mess with you, and like it can go offensive as well. People forget it's offensive. Crobat's got speed and speed control. Raichu doing Raichu things. Shiftry with Fake Out and can do some offensive things as well. Yes, there is no Firewater Grass here. I understand that. But this team's scary. Scary. And they've got enough offense here that I think you have to be ready and watching where's the offense coming from type thing. There's mons that are seen more mons that are seen more defensively. Like Crobat's not really seen as defensive. Well, it can be offensive. Scrafty can be offensive. It's seen more defensively. Zygarde, obviously, mostly is seen as a spam bot, but there you go. Clefable can be offensive. Celesteela can be offensive, especially draft format. Even Aggron, that can be offensive. You've got stuff that can, Nidoqueen, that can do stuff. Raichu can go offensive. Like, you've got mons here that can go offensive, and it's guessing which ones are going offensive, which are staying in their more support defensive role is going to be the hardest thing when facing this team, and I'm not looking forward to facing them, and I actually think we face them first week. Wow, I'm going to double check that after this video, but that's not terrifying at all. #1 ranked team in my draft format ones, and obviously play matters more than all this. Play and prep matter way more than your team, but we'll see how that goes in future videos. Have a nice day, everybody, because Coach Oak said so. See you next.